when I started my Etsy print on demand business, I had no income. I had to make this work. And within the first 10 days, I got my first sale. Within a month, I got my first 10 sales. And within 3 months, I actually cracked the 100 sales. And I did this with no design skills, no money, no connections, no nothing. And I see the same kind of thing for a lot of my students in the Creative Seller Mentorship. So in today's video, I'm going to break down how to get to your first $10,000 in your Etsy print-on-demand business fast. And it all really just boils down to two things, and that's the offer and the design. So first off, we're going to talk about the offer. The offer is really the foundations. Think of them as like the train tracks that your design rides on in order to actually get a sale in the first place. Like you can have the best design ever, but without the right offer, it just won't go to the place that you want it to go. So the first off that what we got to do is that we got to use Printify Insights to actually have it, to know which in-demand products to sell. Because again, we don't want to go into Etsy and print on demand if we want to make it a business blindly. We want to base it on data. So nowadays, Printify has these insights. And if you go to Printify and you go here to your insights, you need at least like 20 sales or more to actually get access to these. But what these Printify insights just gives us is that they give us current data on what's actually selling the best overall on the platform. That's with like people that's selling on Printify to Amazon, to Etsy, Shopify, whatever. It's invaluable data because it just shows us what's actually working the best. And from that, we can just see that, okay, the comfort color 1717, like this year, this has been like the most popular garment to sell. I've sold this one the most just because it's a tried and true seller. But this year, the comfort color 1717 is for sure like the best selling garment to sell on Printify. And it's been like this all year. And the key thing with these to know is that these are current stats. I printed these today as I'm recording this on July 14th. And they are printed from Printify Insights today. So it just shows us what's actually currently selling today the best on the platform. Apart from this, it also shows us, like I got the Gildan 8000 here, but we can do the same thing for the comfort color 1717 if you want to. We can also see exactly which colors to sell. So we don't even have to like think about which colors to sell. We can just take the top 10 colors on Printify Insights, use that and sell that within our listings. Super powerful. It's really super powerful data and stuff to just guide us on what to actually sell using on Etsy with print on demand. Apart from that, we really need something that I call proven mockups. And what a proven mockup really is, it's one of the main variables to actually sell on Etsy. So if I just search for t-shirt here, then I go into the filters. I live in Sweden, but I primarily sell to the US, which I recommend that all of us do because that's the biggest market. But this can auto-filter to Sweden sometimes. So if you live abroad like me, make sure that it says delivery to the US. We start by physical items and then the star seller filter. Then we go to the search bar and swap out star for best. What this does is that it filters by all the best sellers for this given keyword, which is a really big keyword, which is the t-shirt keyword. What we want to do is find common denominators within these mockups. So for instance, we have two ones here, for instance. Don't think about that both of these are trademarked. Like none of us should do trademark stuff. Anyhow, for instance, this one and this one is using the exact same mockup. And it tells us like these comes from different stores, entirely different stores. And it just shows us that this specific mockup is doing the best. Because I can probably find another one with the same mockup. Let's see here. Yep, this one, and this one is the exact same mockup. And that just tells us that this specific mockup for the comfort color 1717 works really good nowadays. And getting clicked in search is one of the main variables to actually get sales. So using that mockup ourselves is a great way to actually have a great offer, because again, the images we use is key to actually just get a sale. It's one of the main variables to actually get the sale. So this tells us that this is a proven mockup, and we need to find proven mockups like this, about like 9 of those to actually have in our offer. I have a lot of these listed already in the Creative Seller Mentorship, and there's more info on that in the description if you want to. But in there, that's already set for you. You can just use those if you want to. But anyhow, if you're in a place where you can't afford that, which I totally get, you can do the work yourself. All what you need to do is just find mockups like this, like from different shops in totally different niches that all use the exact same mockup. That will let you know which mockups are proven and which ones you should yourself get for your own store. Because if I just search for comfort colors 1717 mockup, we can probably find that mockup that we just saw right off of Etsy. Let's see here. It is the pepper. Like I already know from the get that that's the pepper mockup. So let's just search for pepper. Let's see what we can find. There it is. When I just searched for the color specifically, it popped up. So this is the exact mockup that you would need to purchase in order to like have a proven mockup in your store. The key thing with these mockups is that you don't want to try to be different. I did this in the beginning because I had a false preconceived conceptions that you need a different mockup to stand out in search, and that's not the case. Just use the proven mockups in order to actually make your offer great. Follow the data. Now, another thing that you need that's key now in 2025 to make it really work is a guarantee. And a guarantee can just be something simple as this. It should be displayed like this, and I'll go into that in a sec, how the whole offer should be structured. But a guarantee is just something that if you're unhappy with your purchase for any reason, you can contact us within 14 days of delivery and get either a refund or a replacement. All shops doesn't use this yet, but when I started implementing this, I noticed that I actually got a 2x conversion rate within the same month. And what that basically just means is that when I just implemented this info card into my listings, I got double the orders because of that. So really powerful stuff. I definitely like use a guarantee nowadays. It's key to make a really great offer. But another key thing about the whole offer is how you actually optimize the listing formats. So the first one should be the thumbnail. And again, this is the pepper one that we saw that was really proven in the beginning. The second image should be a guarantee. The third image should be some bonus mockups just so that they can get a vibe on how it looks in different colors, but just to like keep the overall vibe of the whole design on top of the shirts. Because again, they entered your listing because they like your design on top of the mockup. Both of those are key and crucial to actually get the click. And this just reminds them and informs them that it looks great on top of different products. Here's another bonus mockup. Here's some how to order images. And again, remember that everyone is not like 20 years old and really familiar with computers when they're buying on Etsy. Some people are like 60 or 70 years old and they don't know how to actually purchase on Etsy. So just stating how to actually order is really good. And then we also need a size chart to specifically say, just to give the customer an understanding on how the fit is. Like for instance, for the comfort colors, the oversized mockups is really popular. So just stating that like how it works to get an oversized look is really good to have, like I do in this size chart. Then you need a color chart. Color chart just basically shows how the design looks on top of the different colors that you have listed in your listing. You don't want to have like just a blanket statement saying that, okay, these are all the different colors that we have. We don't want it to be like this, because that doesn't give the customer a good sense on how the design actually looks on top of each shirt. Because if I have this, for instance, I can already from the get see that, okay, the black one doesn't really look that good, but the blossom one looks really good. And this gives just the customer a better sense on which color to get. And it removes entirely the question on which color to get when they see it like this. Then you want some more bonus mockups, and then you want to end with a review listing. So take one of the reviews that you have and just use that for your last listing image. And if you don't have a review yet, you can just skip this one. But if you have one, it's always good to have that at the end of your listing. And I don't know if you saw this, but it's also key to label each image properly. So this is the ivory color of the shirt. This is the pepper. This is the color chart. And this is the yam one. This is the moss one. This is the black one. This is the espresso. And just labeling everything like this is key, because if someone wants this color and they don't know which color it is, it's hard to get the sale because they don't know which color it is. So just labeling each image properly with the respective color of the shirt is key to actually have a higher conversion rate so that they actually know which color to get if they like this one the most. Now, the second part of this whole thing is the design. So design is what actually grabs the attention of the customer and it's the thing that should match what they actually want. Like if you sell a Father's Day shirt, it should be something within the Father's Day niche. And your design should match their expectations and preferably exceed them. So in order to understand which designs to work and which designs to actually use, we don't want to go in blindly. We want to follow the data. That's key here. And in order to do that nowadays, we go to Etsy, then we search for t-shirts. Again, we need to filter this correctly. I live in Sweden, so I got to filter this to the US. So it says delivered to the US. Then the physical items filter, the star seller filter. We swap out star for best in the search bar. And now what we want to look at is this small number right here. This is the review count. So how many reviews have they actually gotten? We want to find shops with really big review counts. So this one is really big. So let's use Everbee here. View the shop details. This one is 57 months. So we want to find shops that's been successful within the last 2 to 3 years and download their backend data. So this one is for almost 5 years old. So really this is probably not the best one to use, but you also got to make exceptions to the rule here, because if it's an outlier shop, then we might actually want to use it. So we go here, Because how many sales, like 3, 4, 6, 9, 5, 3 sales in 57 months, that's 6,000 orders a month, which is kind of crazy. And if we divide that by a day, that's like 200 orders a day, which is kind of crazy. These are actually handmade by them. It's not POD like us. Let's not use that one as an example. We have to be really thorough about like the shops that we actually use and that we actually want to like find. And I won't go in, like find these different shops, but again, you look at the review count like this one. This one is a really good shop. It's been created within the last like 2 years. So a little bit above 2 years, but it's done like 67,000 within that time. That's 67,723, divide that by 25. That's really good. Basically, I would find shops kind of like this that meets the sales that you want to do per year, and they need to have been successful within the last 2 to 3 years. You use those in your master list, and then you just go into the shop like this one. Like this one is doing crazy good. You go into the shop here, you go to analyze shop, and then export. What this does is that it gives us the backend data for this specific shop. And then once you have like 5 to 10 of these shops that you want to be like, you put them all in a Google Sheets file like this. And then you can just sort everything by estimated total sales. So you take estimated total sales, sort Z to A, and I go through all the steps for this in this video right here. But once you have actually like sorted out estimated total sales, you can just go into every single listing and just analyze the best selling design elements. So you might see that the cursive is working really good here. The college font works really good here. Then you might be able to combine them to create something new and add something really valuable to the platform. That's why I make designs and research designs that all have a high likelihood of actually getting the sale. But once you have the design styles and you know which design styles are working really well with the master list, then it's key to just like go into the different niches and add them in there. You can use the niches that you have here, but a great way to just approach niches on Etsy is to ask yourself the right questions. And the only question that you need to ask is, what are some celebratory and like emotional milestones that happen every single day that people generally want to buy a gift for? This could be so many different things. It could be like, for instance, when people get a new pet, when a pet passes. It could be like when people get a new baby, or when people get engaged, because people generally want to buy gifts for some, like for bachelorette parties, or like when they do pregnancy announcements, or for instance, when a new kid is born, stuff like that, people generally want to buy gifts for. Again, celebratory or emotional milestones, and then you can use ChatGPT to help you with this. The key thing is just to ask yourself the right question, because then you can find the right answer. And the key thing is that these different events need to happen every single day. And for those different niches, you want to be in. I have a whole list on this in the mentorship again, but you can use ChatGPT for this if you just ask yourself the right question. And if you focus on those types of events, it's really easy to round out your shop to get sales consistently throughout the year, but with some peaks here and there. Like for instance, if you sell pregnancy announcement things, like pregnancy announcements happen every single day, but they also like peak at like Father's Day and like Mother's Day, because people generally want to buy gifts for their parents. And is like a gift for a parent with some kind of thing like that is really popular. So generally I call these evergreen niches with peak sales times, but asking yourself the right question, like what is an emotional or celebratory milestone that people generally want to buy a gift for that happens every single day? If you add your designs into those niches, then you have a high likelihood of getting sales all year round. But you also got to know which types of designs to actually sell. You only want to add design styles where there's gaps in the marketplace. Like for instance, if I go into the book niche here. So if I just search for book shirt, like I wouldn't want to, for instance, like add a design like this minimalist one, or this one right here. You wouldn't want to add that. You want to look through your best-selling design elements list and combine them in new ways that hasn't been implemented before in this niche, for instance. So that's key. So you only add your design into a niche where there's a gap where the design style hasn't been implemented before. If you do this, you're doing everything properly, and then you just really need to get better at designing. And once you're at a specific threshold and you're fixing all the issues, then you can definitely like make this really, really work. But if you just follow these 7 different things that I just outlined in this video, then you can definitely make it work really, really fast, because this is really all that you need to get your first 10,000 sales in your listing. But a bonus to this too is that when you list something, I would strongly recommend that you list it with break-even pricing. What I mean by that is that when you list an item, you should earn a $2 to $4 margin. And because it gives you a higher chance to actually get some initial sales, because when you list something, Etsy actually pushes it and boosts it in search. I call this the newly listed listing boost effect, just because it's a funny word. But if your listing gets boosted, it's a design that they want, and you pair that with a low price, there's a high likelihood of getting some initial sales. Those sales will lead to rank. And what rank is how far up in search you are when someone searches for a given keyword, like t-shirt or like, I don't know, like Father's Day shirts. How far up in those searches are you? And those, how far up you are in those searches are just a plain derivative of how many sales you got initially. And using break-even pricing, earning $2 to $4 per sale in the beginning gives you a much higher likelihood of actually gaining rank on your listings. Once you get either 10 to 15 sales, or you get a 50% visibility score here on Everbee. There's this visibility score right here. If this says 50% or more, then you can also bump it up to profit pricing. But the key thing is that it needs to hit one of those metrics. Then you bump it up to profit pricing, which is around $10 in profits and 30 to 40% margins. So this is the strategy that I would use to get to my first $10,000 in Etsy print on demand fast. It's also the strategy that a lot of my students use. And you don't need this big like design degree or like a big budget. All you need consistency and follow the strategy to actually make this work. You just need to follow the framework to actually make this work. Once you're at a specific, once you've done that and you've exceeded your goals, then you can like go after your own intuition. And if you want to learn more about this whole framework and this whole thing, I actually have a full course right here that goes through every nitty-gritty detail, step by step, on how to actually make this Etsy print on demand thing work. If you have any questions at all, it's most likely answered in there. But if you want to ask a specific question as well, I also have a free print on demand group called the Andreas Print on Demand Collective on Discord. There's a link of that in the description, which you also can join if you want to join like-minded peers who are all there to grow together. So that's what I have for this one. I'll see you in the next one.